손흥민은 목요일 오전 10시 30분에 솔트레이크와의 리그 경기를 앞두고 있습니다. 주말에 경기하고 오랜만에 주중 경기까지 열리게 되는데 아마도 전반기에 취소가 되었던 경기듯 합니다. 1000km가 넘는 거리라서 손흥민이 미국의 원정 경기를 치르는 환경이 매우 힘들다고 토로했는데요. 그럼에도 현재 미국을 발칵 뒤집어 놓고 있으니까 더 대단하게 느껴집니다. 오늘 새벽 4시에 LAFC에서 진행하는 공식 팟캐스트 방송이 있었습니다. 약 1시간가량 진행된 방송이었는데 LA 갤럭시 출신의 브라이언 던세스라는 해설위원이 출연해서 많은 얘기를 나눴습니다. 그 중에서도 손흥민에 관련된 내용들만 따로 모아가지고 그 내용을 알려드리려고 하는데요. 정말 많은 고생을 하면서 만든 컨텐츠이니만큼 구독과 좋아요, 댓글까지 마구마구 부탁드립니다. 그럼 영상을 함께 보시죠.
Man, what a start early and often up in San Jose at the weekend.
Sonny is my favorite. Everyone loves Sonny. And I don't know if you missed it, check out MLS social media handles. He talks about being on the fantasy football team with LAFC. And it sounds like, Dunny, Ryan Hollingshead and Aaron Long are positioning him to make picks just to give him crappy trades so that they can force him to get the wooden spoon in the fantasy football. But Son's a good sport. He's playing fantasy football. I'd love to see his team, by the way. Yeah. We'll hope to get that for you here on Inside LAFC podcast.
Yeah, it is brilliant. But I would say there's probably a little bit of bullying happening right now. So I hope they're a little bit nicer and they don't take too much advantage of him. But I did love, it just shows his personality, man. I mean, on the field, off the field, inside that locker room. I was able to see Korea Republic against the U.S. men's national team out in New Jersey a week ago. And the fandom surrounding Sung Hyun-min is extraordinary, whether for club or country. But it just goes to show, once again, what an amazing human being he really is.
He has had an incredible road trip. We'll get to that also here ahead on Inside LAFC podcast. Let's get to the game. San Jose 2, LAFC 4. I want to get your thoughts, Donnie. What goes through your mind if, as a defender, you're going, and LAFC is kind of labored scoring goals, and then all of a sudden, Son Heung-min scores in the opening minute. And then Denny Bowanga scores, and then there's 3 goals in 13 minutes.
Yeah.
Someone asked Steve Chornolo the question, goes, does it change your outlook? He says, not really our outlook. Indirectly, it does, because it changes what San Jose does. They open things up, and we've got to adjust. So take us through that moment. 3 goals in 13 minutes and an incredible blitz.
Yeah, listen, I thought that LAFC was ruthless. I thought that early in the match, the first 30 minutes, San Jose was really naive. I know that they're in a very similar manner to Steve Cherundolo trying to introduce new signings. The start of the game was important because what we always talk about is how can you set the tone? And what I would argue is that was not a San Jose home game. As much as it was in the Bay and as much as there were San Jose fans in there, I think the moment you take them out of their home field advantage, put them at Levi Stadium, all of a sudden, with the fan and the cultural support of Sonny, that becomes neutral territory, if not home territory for LAFC. So you break the 53,000 mark in attendance. You set the record for a standalone game for San Jose. But it's an odd one, right? Because if I'm Steve Cherundolo and that coaching staff, if I'm part of the players, I already know there's an advantage that plays into our side. And that's the sideline looks different. Home comforts are different. You're not in your own locker room. There's not the same game day drive. So all of these little psychological moments benefit LAFC. And if you're going to be naive in possession, you're going to try to build out of the back, and you're going to try to dribble as a right side center back into trouble and try to slice and dice 2 players. Well, then you're just begging for the mercy of Denny Bowanga and Sonny in transition moments. So an important start. They manufactured, I think, momentum by setting the tone early.
Let's talk about Sonny Mania in Santa Clara, which is where Levi Stadium is. So, I mean, I'm sure the Earthquakes are they're not happy about the result, but they're very thankful about the economy of Son Heung-min. They set a record for their franchise, 50,000 people. And I would be disingenuous if I told you that wasn't created by one player. These players know their worth. They are changing this league. We saw it with Lionel Messi. We're seeing it with Son Heung-min, and it continues to grow. So let's talk about that. With 20 seconds in, Son Heung-min touches the ball. The place goes, it's crazy. And then he scores. Everyone gets their money's worth with that. And, you know, people are there to see Son, but LAFC gets a rub. I wanted to say this because someone also mentioned that I think Bouanga Dangsang, I think Bouanga and Son came back from a hot streak in the international break. They are in the zone. First of all, Denny Bouanga was in the Seychelles and Gabon. We are thinking that he traveled 23,000 miles. I know that sounds insane, but that's what he traveled in the international week. Came back, scored a hat trick for his country too. Son Heung-min was in the U.S., but he was in the New Jersey, then Nashville, and then here. Would you be surprised, Dunny, with that? And I think some people were mentioning it to me. It was, he's selling these tickets are being sold. Maybe Sonny wants a break. We've seen it with the top international players going, I have a lot on my plate. I'm going to refresh. We have a game on Wednesday. Not Son Heung-min. He was there. He came back the next day, LAFC training, started the game, went about 80 minutes. This is what we're going to get. Knock on wood, health stays set. Remember, he had some health issues last season with Tottenham Hotspur. But, I held my breath because that was, the tradition of star players. And there he was, ready to go, and he put on a show.
Yeah, and he went 80 minutes, right? So I was a part of the broadcast crew at the desk for United States men's national team against Korea Republic. And the 2 days leading into that game in the New Jersey area, Hoboken, Jersey City, in New York City, the amount of Korean jerseys that I saw and the amount of Sunny jerseys in particular. I mean, it was 70%, it was 75% Korea Republic fans versus U.S. men's national team fans in New Jersey. I mean, again, these games, when these games are scheduled, immediately you got to get your ticket because there's a really good chance you're going to miss out or you're not going to sit anywhere near in the section that you wanted to. I saw some of the comments attributed to Sonny afterwards talking about maybe the biggest surprise was the travel. And that's something that you and I talked about in the pregame when he made we started in the first half when he made his debut in Chicago, is that the biggest surprise is probably twofold. Number one, it's the travel and dealing with the amount. I mean, it's different now. It's not like it back in the day when I played where it's commercial travel. This is obviously private charter, but still some of these significant swings from LA to Chicago, back to LA to Boston, back to LA, then to Dallas, back to LA. And then you go to international duty all the way back to New Jersey, to Nashville, like you said, back to LA, and then to San Jose. That's a lot of travel in a short amount of time for a guy that's, for the most part, used to, 2.5 hour bus rides, maybe maximum.
Bus ride to Crystal Palace, mate.
Yeah.
Get in.
So he knows but this is also a guy who's taking care of his body, and he's phenomenal with the way that he's managed his responsibility as the leader and cultural icon for South Korea. So in all of this conversation, Sonny Mania is in full force in the United States. And it's one of the reasons why his jersey is still one of the hot ticket items in the black and gold and the white and gold. And I mean, it's not stopping anytime soon. So, the machine moves on. I love watching the connectivity and the relationship and the way that Denny Bouanga and Son look for each other each and every time they're on the ball. They're clicking at a high level. Denny has kind of this special sauce when he's isolated 1v1 and likes to do some great things, where Sonny's more of combination, create for myself, create for others, see if I can get on the end of some really important things. And listen, he's used to being the star of the show, but also playing second fiddle. And I mean that with the utmost respect from his time with Harry Kane at Spurs. So for a guy that's so adaptable, whether being the guy or being the guy that supports the guy, I think we're seeing in a short amount of time that his professionalism, his first-class professionalism, matches all of the expectations that we're seeing on the field.
그동안 수많은 한국 유튜버들과 언론들이 손흥민 현상에 대한 말을 많이 했지만 실제 미국에서 진행되는 방송을 보니까 더 생생하게 느껴지는 것 같은데요. 어차피 손흥민 자만할 리도 없고 이 위상이 메시를 뛰어넘고 K축구 신드롬이 되길 응원합니다. 이제 2경기 연속골 가야죠. 네, 리그 12 정도 팀 압살시켜버리길 멀티골 가자. 이상 흰수염고래였습니다. 감사합니다.